when I'm preaching and professing and guiding people, I have gone through what they are currently going. We do not focus on 5 kg weight loss.
What has been your earliest food memory?
Being a Gujju, it's khichdi kadhi.
I never thought about it that way. And I feel like weight has a lot to do with metabolism, which has also a lot to do with genetics.
There are a lot of foods which will constantly make you feel hungry. And because you know that you have any kind of particular family history in any medical condition, you can start taking care of it from the very beginning. We also guide them in terms of what exercises to be done. If they are mentally occupied, what are the practices that they can do to reduce their stress?
What are some of the myths that you were like, these need to go now?
Hey everyone, this is Shruti. Welcome to my podcast, I'm Just Curious, where I talk of all things I'm curious about with the people I'm curious about and how they turn their passion into their profession.
In today's episode, I'm going to be talking to someone who turned her passion for health and nutrition into her profession. She is a certified clinical nutritionist and a dietitian with specialization in diabetes and cardiac nutrition. She's a certified sports nutritionist. She's a certified trainer in IVF therapy. She has been featured as top 10 best nutritionist and dietitian of 2019 on Silicon India Healthcare. So I'm very excited to welcome Prachi Shah with me on the podcast today.
Thank you so much, Shruti, for an elaborate introduction.
Of course I had to. You've done so much. You've studied so much.
Thank you so much for having me here. And I'm even more excited than you to talk about fitness, wellness, and open up a lot in terms of what is going around in the market today and how we can focus more on a 360-degree approach towards fitness, health, and wellness.
Amazing. You're like all set up and I'm super excited. I'm super excited. So how are you feeling? All good? Like everything?
Feeling great, and I love talking about what I do. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Great. So let's start from the beginning. Well, talk to me about what got you, what made you curious about that you want to pursue health and nutrition as your profession? Like, was it like as a child, were you like inclined towards these things, or is it something that you randomly discovered that you want to do?
So there are two very contradictory answers to it. I have been always inclined towards food because I love eating.
Okay.
And most of the people do not believe me that, you are a nutritionist, you maintain yourself so well, you're healthy and all. We will not believe that you eat so much. But I from the beginning, I'm such a big foodie. So I've always inclined towards food, and I have got it from my mother. So she is a great cook, and looking at her do it all her life, it has, put me also in that space. So from a very tender age, I used to cook, and I would love to be in the kitchen and try out different recipes. So that was the beginning of my journey towards food. Talking about health, wellness, and fitness, I started looking towards that parallel a lot later in my life.
Okay.
I have been a super unhealthy child.
I don't think it would be like a nice look on you to admit that about
but it's the truth, because I would only stick to potatoes when it comes to vegetables. I would not be interested in eating fruits. I have never drank milk in that so-called era called, kids should be drinking milk. So I have been totally and completely opposite to other kids in that times about in terms of health and fitness. But as and when I grew up, as and when I got into my pubertal age, when I could actually see myself lag in terms of energy, in terms of certain hormonal changes that I came across when I was in school. The most simplest example could be on a sports day. I wouldn't be able to, be out all day in the sun, and I would faint, and a lot of these very small experiences. But I actually looked onto that and I picked it up from there, that I am the one who was lagging. I could see a lot of people, a lot of friends of mine who would not get bothered, be it a sunny day or whatever it is. They would have so much energy. And that made me feel a little, I was taken aback that I'm so young, yet I'm not able to cope up.
Yeah.
So that's when the whole approach towards fitness, wellness and health got into my mind. So that's when I started exploring different kinds of foods. That was the time when my mother was traveling for almost 1.5 months, and I was the only female in the house. So I had to take care of a lot of, what is to be cooked in the house, what is the menu, and this and that. And that was one of the
Times when you were
times-
like put in charge and you took charge of it.
Exactly.
For real.
Correct.
But I have to say that I share this commonality or similarity with you, where you said that on sports days, like you as a child, you did not eat vegetables, you did not drink milk.
Well,
I feel like there's so much of common there between the two of us, because even I remember participating on like sports activities and on sports days, or like these inter-school championships and tournaments. And I remember this one time I ran this marathon, or it was like a 500-meter race or something. And I was just panting like in the first, even in the first leg.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is happening? And like I felt like this is not going to work.
This is not how it's supposed to be.
This is not how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So I completely get what you mean about that, and what you feel that that something needs to change here. And I'm glad that you did make the change slowly.
And I think that is one thing that I'm really thankful to myself, because today when I see myself, when I'm preaching and professing and guiding people, I have gone through what they are currently going through.
Right.
So I can so much easily put myself into their shoes, and I can guide them in a way that they actually feel that, yes, this is doable, it's sustainable, and it is something that you can make a lifestyle out of.
Yeah.
Because if I've done it for myself, and if I'm still able to do it, that's what instills a lot of trust into other people, that she has her own journey, she has gone through it, and she's continuously being into it very comfortably, not being out of the box and eating only salads and soups and those things. So with the love for food and to eat a lot of food and then to put in health in that particular parallel, it gives a very wholesome and an easy approach to the other person. So it becomes so easy for the other person to understand me and then, walk on the same path as
True. And, it's like, it puts, like you said, it does put a lot of trust, in you as a nutritionist, because it's not like you've been like this all your life, like you've been a health freak, you've been a health conscious person. And the fact that, that your love for food is also there. It's not like, it's something separate.
Correct.
It's like you said, it's wholesome. It's like very unified, like all the components come together. So I think it brings up more trust, in terms of where people are. Like they can trust you more because you've had your own journey, you've had your own experiences, and it's not like somebody out of the blue sitting and telling them and guiding them what they should do without understanding what their experiences have been.
Yes, it's more realistic. And
exactly.
Real is something what everyone's looking for.
Yeah. And people can connect with that easily, and that makes changes last longer.
And learn something that you can keep with you for your whole life. And that is that particular experience where you learn about your own body, what suits you, what doesn't, and then you are just set free. You know that what is going to work and what is not going to. So you are just you have a path and you just have to walk through it and you are good to go. So
True.
I think that's a great learning for people.
Yeah. Talk to me about, anybody watching, if they don't know, like these terms nowadays are also very overwhelming for people who are just starting their journey or just wanting to explore fitness and nutrition in general, So you are a clinical nutritionist.
Yeah.
Can you talk to me, can you describe me what exactly a clinical nutritionist helps somebody with? Like, what is the, basic definition of a clinical nutritionist?
So basically, when somebody listens or hears the word nutritionist or dietitian, there's this one thing in their mind that comes is restrictions, diet.
Means cutting off.
Yeah. And that's something that I always keep on saying, that when you actually look into a dictionary and see the meaning of diet, it actually says the food you eat in terms of making it a lifestyle. And when we say diet, it's just that one piece of paper that people think of, or they think of 1 month program, 3 months program, or a 6 month program, and then I'm going to be all okay, and then I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
So that is something that I really try and break through, bringing in my role known as clinical nutritionist. We do not focus on a 5 kg weight loss or a short-term quick result diets. When we talk about a clinical nutritionist, we focus more on quality of foods, the type of portions that you should be eating, your daily routine from morning till night in terms of when you wake up, when you go to sleep, the quality of your sleep, the different types of movements, exercises and workouts that you do. Something to also do with your mental health, where you are aligning it with more of physical health. Because when we talk about health, it's not only the food and the exercise that you do. It's again a 360-degree approach where you where also the community that you live into, the thoughts that you have, the relationship that you have built with the food.
All of it impacts your food intake.
Exactly. And most importantly, when we say a clinical nutritionist, it also brings in the whole medical aspect along. So in terms of any kind of metabolic syndromes which are related with hormones like PCOS, type 2 diabetes, type 1 diabetes, cardiac issues, hyperlipidemia, anything that has to do with medical front, it all is included in this. So it's not only a basic lifestyle modification, but with each and everything that gives you holistic health. So that is what is a role of clinical nutritionist.
So I think in simple words, clinical term is only mentioned, it's only put in there because it also from the medical aspects, you guide people on what to eat, if anybody has like a medically health.
Correct. So that's when we learn about their health parameters. We read their blood reports. We take care of their medicine and their food interaction, everything. So it's not just the food, but like 100 things which are related to it.
Talk to me about what has been your earliest food memory and how has your relationship with food changed over time? Like you said that, earlier you used to eat only potatoes and now, and you never used to drink milk or whatever. So now how do you see, your relationship with food has changed? How have you seen that change?
So being a Gujju, it's khichdi curry.
Okay.
And I'm a big rice eater. I love my rice. So that's like my go-to meal. Even today, like my mother was asking me what are you going to eat for dinner, and I couldn't think of anything. And I'm like, khichdi. I sorted. And why?
Quite a few things in common. By the way.
And looking at khichdi from a nutritional aspect, it is something that it's a great gut cleanser because it's so light on your tummy. When you're sick or when you're not feeling great, khichdi is something that makes you feel so good, and it actually works nutritionally also.
Okay.
So that is something that I've always, grown up eating. So that's like the earliest memory of talking about relationship with food and how it has changed is I have always tried to have positive aspects over the negative ones. As I said earlier, that I did not have a great relationship with food earlier because I never explored into a lot of food groups. And just like a lot of people I see today, they fear eating so many foods that they feel that they might gain weight or that might not suit them or it might give them acne. So I had the same type of mentality way back.
That paranoia that people have now.
Yeah. And through the years, when I actually had a very open mind towards a lot of different foods which are locally, available, which fit into your own culture, which you have never tried. So I started doing that, and when I actually started studying food and nutrition, I realized that using your food as information to your body works really, really well in terms of giving you results that you're actually working for.
That's very interesting. Using food as an information.
Because throughout the day, you eat multiple times.
Yeah.
Almost 3 to 4 hours in the day, you are giving it to only eating, be it your breakfast, lunch, snacks, dinner, whatever.
We get that. That's one of my, I questioned that too. That who decided that we're going to eat 3 times a day? Who came up with this idea?
So when we look at food, it plays multiple roles in our lives. So be it your meals, be it a celebration, be it anything at all, it actually gives you it actually gives a lot of information to your body. If you're eating like a good high protein, high fiber food, it is going to give you a great feeling to start your day with. If you are celebrating and if you're eating a piece of cake, it is going to make you feel great. So be it healthy or unhealthy, whatever food it is, it has a very direct connect with your body and the way it makes you feel.
Choose the feeling that you want to get,
Exactly.
not the food that you want to
Exactly.
eat. You know, because I feel like when I hear you talk about all this, two things come to my mind.
Yeah.
One is epigenetics. Like you said, you know, your environment, how you're feeling, it impacts. Like I talked about this in the mental health episode that I did with one of the guests, that we think that our genes make us,
Yeah,
but actually our environment makes us.
that's true.
Because our environment is the one causing, you know, the genes to create a certain kind of expression.
Correct.
And that's how we are, and that's how the habits we have and the behaviors we have. And the second thing that comes to my mind from all that you just said is when you said that, you know, information, it took me back to, there's this book called Mind Gut Connection by Emrin Meyer.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
She's an MD physician.
Yes.
I've not read the book entirely, but I'm a little bit aware about the concept that, you know, that anything that you eat, like you said, you know, it just took me to that thing that when you eat something, basically your gut is a bigger brain than actually your brain.
Correct.
So when you're eating something, the information that you talked about, the microbes, the gut environment, the gut in your body is taking, you know, that food and is taking information from that,
yes,
and then passing on to the brain.
Yes.
And that's how you have the expressions, and that's how you
Correct.
have the behaviors and patterns that you do have.
Correct.
So I feel like people should know this, that, you know, that our gut is a bigger brain than our own brain.
And gut is the first place of receiving.
Yes.
Whatever you eat, gut is your first receiving medium. And talking about genetics and environment, 50% predisposition of genes are inevitable.
Yes.
You are going to get what your ancestors are going to pass on to you. But the other 50% is the lifestyle and the environment that you can modify. So that is in your hands. I see a lot of people who come to me and they blame the genetics.
So, it's easy to do that,
it's
right?
Very easy to do that. Yeah.
that.
So, diabetes is in my family, so I'm going to get it. But what about the other 50% where you can actually work on it? You can be cautious about it. And because you know that you have any kind of particular family history in any medical condition, you can start taking care of it from the very beginning rather than for it to happen to you.
Exactly. You can start managing it well.
Exactly.
You know, there's a way of managing something well.
Yeah.
Even if it's inevitable for you to have that, you know, diabetes or that thing or that disease. But how do you manage it well? And, you know, that's going to like make a lot of difference. Lot of difference.
Yes.
Talk to me about appetite and hunger as a topic, you know, because I feel like every time we speak about nutrition and health and fitness, we only talk about food,
Yeah.
eating.
Yeah.
But eating happens when you have an appetite for it.
Correct.
When you feel hungry
Correct.
to eat.
Correct.
You know, which is also, I feel like, a big thing in today's times, where people are losing appetite, or they are having a crazy appetite. Like, you know, sometimes they'll want to eat a lot, sometimes they'll not want to eat.
Correct.
So how to fix that? If somebody is like not feeling hungry, or if somebody is like feeling hungry all the time, how to fix that? How to have a healthy appetite for things?
So, hunger and appetite are totally two different things.
Okay.
Hunger is when your body signals you that you need to eat because your energy level has gone down. Or you can say in a more scientific manner, your glucose levels have dropped down.
Right.
And there's no energy for you to perform whatever you're doing furthermore. So that's when your body signals you that you need to eat and you need to work on your energy. You need to bring your glucose levels to a particular level so that you can carry on your day and give you a good energetic day. So that's your hunger. Appetite is what you create. It's just a basic desire to eat. So it's in your hands that how much you should be eating.
I never thought about it that way.
So it's in your hands that how much you should be eating, where to start, where to stop. And to have a right amount of appetite is really difficult to know, observe, or to fix your portions.
Oh.
Because most of the times with our favorite foods, we overeat, and most of the times with something that we don't like, we
ignore it.
undereat.
Yeah.
We ignore or we undereat.
Undereat.
So to bring a balance between that, appetite plays a very, very big role. So that's what is the difference between two. But talking more scientifically into it, there are two hunger hormones, ghrelin and leptin.
Okay.
Ghrelin basically is an appetite increaser. It is made out of the fat cells. So it will give you the signal that you're hungry, eat, your energy is low. And leptin is an appetite suppressor, that you're done, now stop it. This much is what you should be eating.
Right.
So basically a balance between the two is very important. Now, as we just discussed about the gut-brain axis, these hormones are secreted in our pituitary gland through certain neurotransmitters in our brain. So that's when it will tell you that you must eat, and then it will tell you that stop eating.
Yeah.
So these are the two hormones that usually we need to bring a balance into so that we can control a particular appetite for a particular body type.
Right.
In terms of being overweight, underweight, or even perfectly fine in terms of your body fat.
Right.
So to bring a balance between appetite and hunger, and to know this difference, that hunger is something what your body requires, but appetite is something that
What you desire.
Exactly.
Wow.
And what you craft it into.
Right.
So that is what is about hunger and appetite.
That's very interesting. And the point that you just mentioned that, I just wanted to ask you, you said a very interesting thing that these are fat.
Ghrelin is a hormone which is made through fat cells.
Okay. So is it like if your body has a certain level of fat, it will require you to eat or not require to eat? It depends on the fat content in your body.
Yes. So if you have a higher fat percent, there will be lesser secretion of ghrelin, which is an appetite increaser. So it will already give you a signal that you have enough fat in the body. You need not eat so much.
Oh.
So that's how beautifully our body is tuned. But why do we go wrong in certain things? Because we are mentally so much occupied with work, stress, not slowing down while we eat, using a lot of screens while you are eating, not concentrating while you're actually connecting with the food. So these signals that the body is constantly giving you, you're not able to recognize.
You're missing
it. And then you're just eating and eating and eating. You're not chewing well. So if your mouth is not doing the amount of work that it should, then it is going to be your stomach, which is going to go into a very different state where if it is taking 30 minutes to digest a fruit, it is going to take 1.5 hours more. And then what happens? Bloating, heaviness, and a lot of other issues that come
just not chewing well can give you bloating.
Exactly.
It's nothing to do with like eating like, salty foods or anything.
Yeah. A very simple example of hunger and appetite. Our brain is always confused between thirst and hunger. And if you analyze yourself, if I analyze myself, on a scale of 10, almost 6 times we drink much lesser water than what we should. So when we are drinking less water, our brain is always going to recognize that you need to drink more water. But because we are so engrossed into our lives,
instead of we drink.
We eat. So that's when you are increasing the concentration in your body. That's when your pH is from alkaline, it shifts to acidic.
Yeah.
And you're not drinking enough water. And you're putting in more food than what you should. So your bowel movement, the movement of the food inside the body slows down.
That's where the IBS issue comes in.
A lot. IBS, other gut issues, bloating, feeling very gassy, constipation, feeling heavy after a meal. So that's a very simple example where you are not able to understand the triggers that your body is giving you.
Right.
So our bodies are tuned in such a way that we just need to slow down and listen to our own body, which is very important, but it is missed by 99% of the people.
I agree. I just want to for a second go back to that point about the fat hormone,
yes.
the fat levels and the hormone. You said a very interesting thing that if your body has a level of fat, in the body, if there's a level of fat in your body, you might not feel hungry.
Correct.
What are these foods that you are consuming that is giving you a certain fat level because of which you're not feeling hungry? or what are these foods because of which you are constantly feeling like, because of which your fat level, or like you said, the glucose levels or anything is not where it should be, because of which you're constantly either feeling hungry or constantly not feeling hungry?
So I'll go with the one which will make you constantly feel hungry, because that's out there.
I personally want to know, because I don't feel hungry sometimes.
Yeah.
So but you can start with that.
So there are a lot of foods which will constantly make you feel hungry, and the most simplest ones are the simple carbs. Now, I'm not saying that carbs are bad, but there are different types of carbs, and we need to focus on the ones which are more complex, because they are enriched with a lot of fibers in it. So when you eat, for example, say a slice of bread, and in comparison with that, if you eat a jawar roti, so slice of bread is devoid of fibers. It is only plain simple carbs. So if you eat a slice of bread or you eat a sandwich for breakfast, within 1.5 hours, you're going to feel more hungry, and it is not going to sustain for a longer time. When there is good amount of fibers in your carbs, it is going to give you a fuller feeling for more time, and it will sustain more energy.
Right.
So with carbs which are devoid of fibers, they will give you a quick surge in your sugar levels, and that's when it will drop
also drastically.
quickly. Yeah. So that time that it is going to give you sustenance in terms of your appetite is going to reduce.
Right.
So every now and then you're going to feel hungry all the time, and that goes on for the whole day,
Right.
and not only in a particular time.
Yeah.
So that's what is something that we need to differentiate in terms of simple carbs and complex carbs. Now, I'm not saying that don't eat breads or don't eat simple carbs,
Right.
but pair it with other food items. Like if you're eating a sandwich, make it a point that you're eating good amount of proteins along with it. Fruits are simple carbs. So pair your fruits with nuts, seeds, which is going to reduce that sugar spike and is going to give you a good combination of carb and protein together.
Right.
So doing those shifts is something which will help you in not feeling hungry every now and then, and you're good to go for a longer. So now coming to the aspect where people do not feel more hungry or they do not have the appetite to eat. So usually this happens when you're mentally more occupied in terms of work, stress, in terms of overthinking, or if you're continuously overdoing certain things. So you do not realize when again your gut or your brain is signaling you to eat. And because you're so much into one thing in terms of work or whatever, that you tend to forget that this is the time to eat. So that's one aspect. Number two, if you don't have a pattern or a routine on a daily basis, if your routine keeps on changing every day, your body is so confused that when to eat, when not to eat, when to sleep. If your meals are late, your sleep is going to get a little
fluctuated.
Yeah. And the third thing is when you do not have enough physical activity or an active lifestyle. Because if you are an active person, it becomes very easy to create that appetite.
Right.
Because your expenditure of certain energy and certain calories is at a level where your body will make you hungry, because it will need that refueling after a particular activity. So these are the major three reasons when you might not feel hungry or you might not have an appetite for certain things. But I think it can be taken care very easily in terms of making what you eat more fun, more connected, with a very non-restrictive approach in terms of you want to eat a pizza, but make it at home with your own recipe, make it more cleaner. Enjoy being around food, cook certain recipes that you like or your partner likes or your family likes to eat. Sit with your community to eat. Have conversations, make sure that you are enjoying the whole process. And as I said, look at food with an approach of it is helping your body and not that it is harming your body.
Right.
So that is something that can be used in such a different perspective that you can easily take care of your appetite.
I get a few points that, you just talked about, like how you spoke about exercise and physical activity. Like personally for me, I have observed and noticed, like since the time I started working out, which has been like quite a few years now, that my appetite or hunger, comes only from that. Like because I work out. And the days I don't work out, like, Saturdays and Sundays are like off. So that's when I'm like,
you're not hungry.
I'm not hungry now. So what do I do? Like, so, but I feel like it's I agree with certain things that you just said, and missing also about the point that you said that you forget about eating. There used to be times when I remember, even while I was studying pharmacy, like when you say that, stress or work or, being constantly mentally occupied, it was like a very challenging course to do. Like, pharmacy is not easy. And so I used to skip meals. I would forget about eating, like, even in like high school or whatever. And I would just forget about eating. And like I would not even realize that, there was food that, I was supposed to eat. And then now I've forgotten. I've gotten much better. But yes, I agree with so much that you just said, because I have personally felt it and I've personally navigated my way through it, navigated my way around it.
Correct.
And build habits like working out and, like you said, enjoying that process.
Correct.
Like now, I don't restrict myself. Like you said, if I feel like, I wouldn't cook it at home, but if I feel like eating a pizza, I'm going to get a pizza. You know, every once in a while, not all the time. But I'm going to give myself that liberty. I do without any judgment. I do give myself that. Okay.
And I feel when you create a lifestyle around it, and when you see the positive impact that your body is reverting back to you, it becomes so easy for us to follow that path with more consistency.
True.
And that again, it will always keep you on your toes, that if I do this, I'm sure I'm going to see this. So you're more confident about your own body. You're more confident about following a certain path, and you're not lost.
True. Very true. Yeah. And I think one of the key important things from my personal experience about that, when you incorporate something like that, it becomes easy, has been hands down working out.
Yeah.
Now, if anybody talks to me about any problem that they have or anything, the first thing I tell them, start working out.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
That's all.
Like I don't know anything else. Just start working out. Because when I started working out, there were these, changes that I observed, like positive changes in my health, in my appetite, in my hunger, that I am over the moon, that I can like persuade anyone about it. Like, that just
and
do
the
this.
endorphins that you feel after
Exactly.
It's a crazy feeling that you've accomplished something for the day, and it just keeps you going. And with workout specifically, it's not something that you want to reach a goal. I feel it's endless.
True.
Maybe you start with a goal, but when you actually understand the process behind it and how your body turns into a much more positive place to be in, it's endless. You will not be into that frame that, I've lost 5 kgs and I'm good to go. Yeah. You just want to keep improving. There's no looking back.
Yeah.
So having that mindset towards health is very important.
Very important. Like not assigning an end goal to it, but looking at it as an ongoing process.
Correct. And that's when we can call it a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, it's true. Talk to me about, we spoke about food hormones, but I want to talk about something that's very, very, persistent right now in the culture, especially about women's health and women's hormones and what all they go through, and which is a lot. So talk to me about that, like how to keep hormones balanced, and how does food impact that? How can we do it with food?
Right.
And how to navigate this overall, as in a lifestyle manner.
Correct. So number one is females tend to focus more on hormones only when they start getting problems with it, when they start seeing hormonal imbalance. Now, I would say that from day one, I feel be it a male or a female, both bodies have hormones, and both need to work in a certain way to give you that kind of growth, to give you that kind of a comfortable, healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
So when we talk about hormones, it's more about from the beginning of your journey, because that's when you tune your body in a particular way. That's when you build a foundation over which you get onto a healthy lifestyle. So talking specifically about females as your question, it is very important to have a better understanding with food and with exercise and with mental health. Number one is we overthink so much that it increases our cortisol hormones. Now, cortisol hormones or cortisol levels is the stress hormone. So no matter if you're eating a very healthy diet, you are working out and everything, but throughout the day you're stressed about something, then nothing else is going to work because your cortisol is at the peak. And
What is the reason that in today's time, especially, our cortisol levels are at an all-time high, no matter what you do, and especially when this hormone is the highest in the morning, is what I've heard from studies, that cortisol is the highest in the morning. And that's why people recommend to work out in the morning, to reduce cortisol
level.
So, but why I feel like from a parent's generation to our generation, I feel like we have higher levels of cortisol throughout.
Correct.
Not just in the mornings. What do you think is the reason for that?
But I think there's a lot of exposure in terms of the generation change, in terms of a lot of processed foods that we have adapted to, westernization of diets, that we are much more inclined towards westernized foods in terms of breads, in terms of desserts, in terms of our homemade Indian sweets, changes, gluten-free, vegan, dairy-free, and all of these things. So there's a huge change. Our parents have never done this. And there's another bigger shift in terms of environment and climate change, which also increases our cortisol levels. Also, a lot in terms of overall work and life balance, which our parents would easily maintain. And I would not blame the older generation and ours, but I think earlier there was a very clear view in terms of black and white, and now we do not have it, because we have so many parameters revolving around us in terms of work, in terms of business, in terms of life, a lot of things. So all of these together is giving us a higher cortisol level, is what I feel.
True.
But in terms of getting back to women's health,
women's health,
it is very important to understand that you're not very much mentally occupied. If you are, then guided meditations are amazing, which will always put you in a calmer space. It will help you to get in that few, even 5 to 10 minutes, it will give you to respond to a situation before you jump onto
before you react.
So that time is very important, and guided meditations has taught me this. Second thing, from food, as I said, a lot of exposure in terms of westernization of diet, processed foods, a lot of packet foods which have so many preservatives and additives and sugars, which a lot of people don't know that, it has sugar, because there are so many chemical names to sugars that you cannot recognize, and layman doesn't know about it. So that is there. Then I would come down to being sedentary and not being active in your lifestyle, because even though you're eating a healthy diet, but if you're not moving, even the healthy food is calories, and that is again giving you certain reactions in the body. So for that to work in a certain way, you have to pair healthy eating with movement. And when I say movement, I would hands down focus on, especially for women, focus on strength exercises.
Okay.
And I would not say that, run 10 kilometers, do a lot of cardio and lose 10 kgs. That's of no point. When we talk about strength exercises, it helps you in building lean muscles and reducing your overall body fat percentage. When you have a high body fat percentage, your hormones are going to go and park themselves in the fat cells.
Right.
So they are not working. They are just being engaged in the fat cells. When your fat goes down and when you have a higher lean muscle mass, your hormones are going to optimize and actually going to do the work that it should. So your metabolism is fine, your hunger hormones are fine, so you're not eating more or less. Your mood is okay. If you're eating the right foods, it is driving you into a certain path of eating healthy and making it a lifestyle. You are going to recover well while you are sleeping. Your body is going to give you a good digestion and a fresh feeling in the morning. So all of these things together, I think, is going to works really well for females. And specifically during the menstrual cycle that comes in every month, that's when you need to actually slow down a little and be very, very mindful in terms of your exercise. Don't go super exhausted when you are having your periods. Go a little
Listen
slow.
to your body.
Listen to your body. Go slow.
Listen to when it needs what, and accordingly do things.
Now there are researches that say that in your ovulation period or in your during the periods or right after it, what kind of workouts will support your hormones. So there are so many researches for that. So doing these things and comforting your body at every phase is very important. But to take care of hormones, I would say it should start at a very tender age with all the girls, and not only when they start having their menstrual cycle, or when they are detected with PCOS, or when they know that they are not fertile enough to conceive. That's not the time that you should work on. It should be from the beginning, so you never land up into such things.
Yeah.
And hormones are something which are talked about so much, but even then people are not understanding the importance of it. So it's not just that, oh, I have hormonal imbalance. It's a lot to do with how you look at your food, how you think about it, and how you're consuming it. In that way, even your cooking methods have a very different approach towards how healthy you are.
Every food item cooked at a particular temperature has a certain, nutritional value to it. And, cooked differently has a different... I even heard recently, like somebody say, nutritionist or somebody on Instagram was talking about this, that very interesting. I found that very interesting, that the same food item when consumed in the morning as compared to when consumed later in the day has different effects.
That's true.
And I was like, wow, like we don't know that. We think like, oh, this food, this is what it does and this is what it will do.
Correct.
But that's not what's going on.
Yes.
This is so complex and so reactive to so many things. Like dependent on so many factors.
Correct.
Like I said, like cooking temperature, time of the day when you eat something.
Yes.
So I mean,
a simple example of that would be eating a fruit.
Right.
It is recommended to eat your fruits in the first half of the day because, as I said, they are simple sugars. So throughout the day, when you're having if you're doing your household chores, you're working, you're going to office, gives you energy, and you're using that to burn it off. Now, if you eat a fruit as a dessert, just because fruits are healthy, and then you directly go to sleep, it is going to get
spike your sugar.
It's going to be a reserve in your body. So that fruit eating in the night is making you unhealthy rather than eating in the morning and get the right benefit out of it. There's so much information about it in the market.
Yeah.
And with hormones, every female has a different equation with their own hormones.
Yes.
So what can work for you might not work for me. What can work for me might not work for somebody else. And that's why we preach, we practice, and we put so much focus on customizing your own meal plan. And because that is something that will actually put you into a frame where it is going to work for your body. Just because somebody is eating quinoa and it's giving her a great result, it might not work for you. You might feel bloated. It might not digest in your body.
Agreed.
So having a more customized and a personalized approach towards what you eat and what your body can recognize is also very important.
True, because
especially for females, I would say.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Talk to me about some of the foods that, we can universally feel like are good, like you said before, that, there are certain foods that might work for someone, might not work for someone.
Yeah.
But are there any foods that universally work the same way for everyone?
Of course.
And are good to eat no matter what?
Yeah, of course. There are so many. Number one is sticking to your own culture. So if we talk about our Indian culture, lots and lots of whole grains. Okay. I'm very sure that most of us, we don't know and we cannot recognize certain grains in our own pantry.
Let's not go there.
No, I was the one.
Okay, great.
But now I'm well educated about it.
Okay.
But yeah, I do see a lot of people who really do not know that this is which dal.
Forget about grain. People don't know plants also.
Yeah.
So food items that we're eating, that's a different thing.
Yeah. So knowing your own culture and knowing your own food is very important. And whole grains are something which are universally amazing for everybody because they are complex carb rich and they consist of at least 60% of your diet in the whole day, which gives you good energy to take you through the day. So that's number one. And when I talk about whole grains, it is your dals, your pulses, your cereals, wheat, bajra, ragi, amaranth, jawar, all of these.
It's all coming back fashionably, but coming back.
It is. So the universal foods that can work for every body type is through knowing your culture and identifying your own foods that you've been eating from the time you've been introduced to food. Because that's what you've eaten to grow up all your life. So shifting from what is comfortable for your body to something that's totally out of the box or unsustainable will not work.
Right.
So when we talk about universal foods, I would like to bring in the five, what do you say? Five
types of
types of foods or 5 types of food groups which are usually there. So we start with carbohydrates. As I said, we need to add in a lot of complex carbs which will come from all the whole grains. So options like wheat, oats, bajra, ragi, jawar, jaw, amaranth, all of these are good amount of complex carbs, and even rice, of course. Not
They're
to
coming
forget
back.
rice.
They're all coming back
gradually.
but yeah, they are.
So those are great complex carbs which will give you lots of energy to sustain through the day. Second is your proteins, which comes from dals, pulses, dairy products, plant-based dairy products, eggs and meat, which will give you good amount of proteins to take care of your metabolism, to take care of your cell repair, to take care of your hair, skin, nails, and of course give you a great build in terms of muscles and bones. Third is your vitamins, which comes from all your fruits and vegetables. Fourth is your minerals, which comes from a lot of small quantity foods like almonds, different types of nuts, which we would not eat like in a portion of bowl. We will eat like what, handful of almonds, or maybe a spoonful of flax seeds. So all of these minerals, which we call as trace minerals, that the body wouldn't require it in a huge amount, but that small amount also makes a huge difference. And the fifth is your fats. So when I talk about fats, it's all about the good fats, which are actually going to metabolize the fat inside your body. So good fats would come from good quality and proper ratio of your oils that you use. If the house, the vegetable oils that we use for cooking, ghee, avocados, again nuts and oil seeds, the different types of butters that are there today that is available, salted, unsalted, all of these make a good composition when we talk about good fats. So these are the 5 universal food groups that should be there on your plate, and you should be able to recognize
on an everyday
basis and at every meal. So that you are eating a balanced diet.
I'm already exhausted listening to this.
So that you're eating a balanced diet, you're giving your body that particular amount of nutrients for the day, so you're not deficient and you don't create any nutritional deficiencies. So the universal foods are these 5 amazing food groups that can make your life or break your life.
Amazing. Even though I'm exhausted just listening to the food items, but nice. What are some of the biggest myths in terms of food and nutrition that over the years you've heard people say, and now you're like, I can't with this anymore? Like, just, what are some of the myths that you were like, these need to go now?
One is very common, drinking different types of waters. I'm just done with this. Drinking jeera water, drinking lemon and honey water, infused water. No type of water is melting the fat. There is no magic in these waters that is melting the fat inside your body. You need to move, and you need to give your body certain foods to refuel to move that fat. Water is never, if you put water on a slab of butter, it's not melting.
But I'm going to ask you a very interesting question related to water, but first you finish.
Yeah, so that is number one, that stop drinking these differently infused waters thinking it is going to make you nice, lean and perfectly fit you into a nice dress.
And it's annoying to watch also, by the way.
It is. And I see people who do not like it still forcefully, they, have it because they feel it's going to give you great results.
Some results.
Yeah, so that is number one, and that is out there. I feel I feel we have gone out of that phase and that fashion of this water and that water. But even today, I see people drinking lemon water with honey first thing in the morning, which is actually dangerous. It's
because, I'm wondering, your body is already acidic.
Exactly.
You slept all night. There's no water in your body. Why are you putting, again, acid over acid in your body?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
And also having, I would like to tell this to everybody who's watching it, that having lemon water in the morning is leaching out a lot of calcium from your bones, leaving them really weak. So please don't do this. It's not burning your fat, but it's actually dangerous.
Yeah.
So don't do this. And also, along with that, even if you're drinking these different kinds of waters and all, any one particular thing is not going to work.
Right.
It is a combination of certain modifications and certain practices which will give you a certain level of changes in your body.
Right.
So just doing your exercise and eating whatever you want, just drinking these waters and not doing anything else, just eating soups and salads and not sleeping well, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
It's a holistic approach, and you have
There's
to
no either or to
exactly. You have to take everything together and walk ahead.
Yeah.
Because one thing is related to 100 things, and it's a damn cycle.
Yeah.
And you have to do it. There's no shortcut.
Yeah.
So no shortcuts. That is number one. Number two is I really would want that people should get over this number. I want to lose this much amount of weight. I feel this is my ideal weight.
Or even gain weight for that matter.
Gain weight in that matter. Because I do not believe in ideal weights. Weight is not something that defines your body.
Right.
You can be. I recently put up a reel on Instagram about the same thing. That, you can be at 60 kgs and you can look much leaner with a better muscle ratio and a lesser fat percent. But you can be again at 60 kgs with a wider body, with a higher fat percent and no muscle at all.
Yeah.
So both the people at 60 kgs can be healthy and unhealthy.
Same
But-
goes for 20-year-olds as well.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course. For any age group,
Any
in
age,
fact. And it's just how that your weight is perceived by the body and how it is dispersed.
Yeah.
You just have to forget the number on the scale because it is not giving you the right image of your health.
Right.
Basically, weight is a sum of muscle, water, fat, and bones. Now, you can be dehydrated and can be 2 kgs lower. You can lose a lot of muscle and can be 5 kgs lower.
Yeah.
And you can also be 5% less in your fat and see a good change in your weight. You can have weak bones and not have a higher weight. So it's not just the number that is giving you the right picture.
Yeah.
So I think this is something that people should understand as soon as possible.
Right.
Because this weight thing in the thing,
I agree.
yeah, and I see so many people on a daily basis and they say, Prachi, I'm feeling so good. My energy is so nice. I'm fitting into my old clothes. I see great inch loss, but I'm still 2 kgs away from my goal. So that shouldn't happen.
They would get a biggest eye roll from me.
So this is one thing that I really want to work on, and I want to spread it as much as possible. I literally want to hammer this into every person's mind that just forget the number. And I feel health is not a number. It is to be felt. It can't be measured.
No.
You can feel great about yourself and you can feel even like terrible about yourself when you wake up.
Yeah.
You can feel great about your digestion and you can feel also terrible. Like you can feel terrible about it again. So yeah, it's about feeling your body and having that feel about your health.
True.
Yeah.
True. And I feel like weight has a lot to do with metabolism,
Correct.
which has also a lot to do with genetics,
Yes.
which partly is not in your control, first of all.
Yeah.
So why chase something that's not in your control?
Yeah.
Take me through the process. Like if somebody watching or listening, they want to consult you as a clinical nutritionist, what is the process that, that goes into it, and how they can feel ease into it, and what's the process like?
So it's very simple. We are open to as many people who can approach us, and we are always ready to guide. That is something that we love doing. So once once somebody gets in touch with us, we basically take up their short lifestyle history and their medical history, so we know that what is their concern, what where we need to work around, and that's when we suggest them that which plans can work for them. Once they understand this, we start with our first counseling session. It could be or with my team nutritionist who work under me, depends on what the person wants to go with. And then we start with our first counseling session, be it online or offline. So that is our first approach towards understanding the body type, towards understanding the body composition in terms of metabolism, fat percent, muscle mass. certain body parts where the person is feeling is a problem area and when we need to put in more focus to. We understand their work life, we understand their daily routine timings, their preferences, likes, dislikes, if at all there is any kind of medical conditions that they want to focus on, and of course their daily pattern of eating. Once we understand that, then we start counseling them in terms of keeping that routine as it is and intact, but what are these small triggers which is making them unhealthy, and those small triggers where we can modify into a very simple yet doable practice which can give them the reverse result of getting healthier.
Right.
So that's how our counseling sessions are. That is something which is the first step and the most important step. Because that's when we make them understand that why we are making this change. If the person understands the logic behind it, it becomes very easy for them to follow.
Yeah.
And then the result is of course going to be there. So that is like a very important session for us and also for the client. After that, we start planning their meal plans. We send it to them. They follow for a particular time, and then we keep doing regular follow-ups with them. We make sure that by the end of the day, they send us their food diaries, that whatever they've eaten throughout the day, so that on a daily basis, we are monitoring. Wherever they are going wrong, right away, we can help them with the suggestion so that throughout the week or throughout the program, they are not stuck in the wrong choices or the mistakes that they are making. And this helps them to get easier, quicker, faster results, which makes them more motivated to follow a healthy lifestyle.
Right.
And that's how throughout the process, we make them learn what their body type is, what works, what doesn't work, and what we can do in moderation.
Right.
So that they are well aware of their boundaries, but they can also indulge at certain times. Once they have indulged, what is to be done later and how well they can balance their lifestyle. So we make it like a more of an educative process for them, which they can carry with them throughout the life, and that can help them to maintain whatever results that they have achieved with us.
Right.
So that we would love for them to come back to us, but we do not want them to come back to us in a way that they stay healthy and they maintain their healthy lifestyles that they have curated with us. And by the end of the program, we give them like more of an open-ended maintenance guide, which can help them, which is like an ebook to them, which they can go back to any time that they've lost track with or they're stuck anywhere, and they can get back on track. And we have our doors open for all our clients who have consulted us, that throughout their journey and even post-consultation stage, they can get in touch with us if they are stuck anywhere. So it's more of a, like a...
building like
it's like a relationship.
Yeah,
it's like a relationship.
Like a long-term...
Yes, totally.
trustworthy relationship where you can exchange information and, expect to receive guidance and proper direction.
Yes, and along with food, we also guide them in terms of what exercises to be done. If they are mentally occupied, what are the practices that they can do to reduce their stress? So it's again like a more 360-degree approach. Their sleep patterns, how often they should be working out, what are the types of workouts that can work for a particular medical condition. So it's everything that you can think of.
Anything that you can think of.
Yes.
Right. But it's a very nice thought that you have, that, you don't want them to be stuck.
Yeah.
And you don't want them to be stuck so that they need you.
Correct.
But you want them to find that why, because once you have that why, it becomes very easy for you to do something in life.
Correct.
And maintain doing that for a longer period of time.
Yeah. If I was in their shoes, I wouldn't want to visit a dietitian all my life.
Yeah.
And who would want to do it? It's no fun. You don't want to be on a diet all your life.
Yeah.
You should understand what your body requires. You should know and recognize the signals that your body is giving you by yourself.
Yeah.
A nutritionist is somebody who can help you to get to that place, but later on you have to lead it yourself.
Yeah, agreed. Because you live, in your own body, and this is yours to take care of.
And so then we started, you were talking about how your guests are converting their passion into their profession. It's a great feeling when I actually talk to my clients, because I feel so connected, and it's actually my passion to help them get onto that path of consistency, of believing in themselves, of putting in that little amount of effort, which will again make them happy by the end of the day that, oh, I've done this and this is what I feel.
Right.
So me and my team, we get so happy, even more than what our clients would feel that, oh my God, they did it. And it's such a great feeling.
But it shows also. It shows, when somebody is doing out of so much love and passion for what they do, rather than just looking at it as a way of making money. And, fashionably guiding fashionably putting a label that you're guiding someone.
Correct.
But when you're doing it from your heart, I think it shows also. And it shows like how you've spoken so authentically and openly and beautifully, that it shows that it's your passion, that you want to change people's lives, that you want them to take that step to make their lives better and choose a healthy lifestyle for themselves.
Yes.
Talk to me about what is the one advice that you would like to give someone who wants to pursue their passion, who probably doesn't know how to do it, and how to keep following your goals once you've achieved a certain milestones.
Correct.
How do you keep that drive and ambition alive once you've found that passion?
So I think the first thing is to know that why you want to do this. If you don't have a reason to do it, if you don't define your why, you will be left clueless.
Right.
And even if you achieve your goals, you might not feel that great accomplishment feeling. So then doing so much hard work and not feeling anything about it is pointless. So to know that why you want to do it is going to make you stick around till the end.
Right.
That's number one. Number two, to follow your passion and to work around it professionally, I think habit building is something which is very important. Doing the same thing again and again, even though it's boring, is going to make you very consistent and is going to put you into a routine which is going to work on a daily basis, but will give you the results maybe after a year or two. But you will thank yourself in sticking to that routine. And even, a simplest example is to wake up at 6 in the morning. Just by, taking off that blanket and getting up for that 5-10 seconds, you would feel, no, I don't want to. But then if you do it every day,
it's going to add up.
Even that smallest of effort is going to add up. So be it boring, doing the same exercise every day, eating the same food every day, doing the same work every day, making the same to-do list every day, it's fine. But just stick to it and make it a habit. And the third thing I would feel is to be super patient. I have learned it a very, very hard way. And
I think all of us.
And I think I'm still learning. Because I was a super impatient person. Super, super impatient. But while working, being into the professional world, working on certain goals, you have to be patient. It's not going to come to you overnight. And you need to be persistent in doing something. Patience is something which is very important. If you are in the right mind space, if you have the right game plan, and if you have the right mindset for it, positive and ethical, you will 100% reach where you're going to. But that time of reaching, you need to be super calm and you need to just hold yourself so that, you be there. So I think patience is really important. It's like you are doing a plank hold for 1 minute, but then if you do it 5 more seconds, it's a breakthrough. So that
very good example. Very good example.
So that is something that is very important.
Increases your resilience.
Yes, totally.
When somebody is not asking you to do it, but you put in that patience and that effort, that increases your resilience. And
it makes you so strong that when again you are into a situation where you are uncomfortable into, you can easily get out of it. And you will not think twice that what should I do? You will know.
Agree.
So that is something which drives me, keeps me super passionate about work. I cannot think of a day I'm not working. And I cannot think of a day that I'm not talking to somebody and guiding them.
Lovely. We love that. Keep doing that. You want to hear more about that. Just one thing I feel like I would love to add about that patience thing is, I feel like indifference would also help. Like, be like, And I feel like as we grow up, we do tend to become indifferent about most things.
Yeah.
But I feel like if we are consciously, being aware about that and choosing the things that are not working for us and being indifferent about those things, I think so much of our energy is going to get, conserved.
Very
that we can put it, in a place that is actually needed.
Yes, very much, very much. I also feel this goes with the energy that you receive by being with certain set of people.
Yes.
If you be with certain people,
And if you get energy,
Yes.
instead of being drained of
drained off.
energy.
Yes, very much, very much. Staying with your family, the choosing or making friends that can, maybe
Uplift you.
Yeah, it's very important. I feel it's very difficult in our lifestyles to
Yes.
not choose what everybody is doing.
Yes.
But if you work on that, you will be 10 steps ahead of everyone else around you.
True.
Yeah.
Just to lose that initial, gratification of doing that thing.
Yes.
And choosing like a long-term thing that works for you.
Correct.
Rather than what's working for everyone in the
Right
moment.
now. Yeah.
Big difference.
Big difference.
Big
Right,
difference.
Yeah. And I feel you will be mocked a lot during that whole
Judged.
process.
Mocked.
But I really don't care. If it's something that is giving me energy to go ahead,
Yeah.
why not?
That's why I meant that be indifferent to that judging and mocking.
Yeah.
Great. So now we move to a little bit more fun segment,
Okay.
which is called the Curious Quick Five. So the first question is, one thing that you're curious about recently.
I'm curious about working on my own path, especially for this year, because I feel that this is my year and I'm going to kill it. But I'm very curious about how I'm going to do it.
Wow, interesting. I
And
love that
told,
answer.
and I have talked about this with a few of my close people, and I keep telling them every day that this is my year. And I'm very curious to know that by the end of the year where I am.
I'm very happy and impressed with that answer. I've
Yeah.
never gotten that answer, and I like that answer. One person you're curious about, living or dead. It could be anyone.
I'm really curious about you.
Wow.
He's
Elaborate.
my favorite. He's my favorite. But I really look forward to
Were you
knowing.
always like this for Shah Rukh Khan?
Yeah.
Always?
From the beginning. Like I'm like a big fan of his. But I really am very curious about his life. And I see a lot of his motivational videos, and I really want to know that what were those pressing points which
He overcame?
he overcame. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we all know that it wasn't a smooth journey
smooth
for
journey.
him. Yeah. And looking at him from a very known background into this, and how he's at the top no matter what.
I feel like his existence as a person makes people believe in so many things.
A lot of
Not just hard work, not
Of
just,
course.
but like the miracles that people talk about.
Totally.
The spiritual aspect of life
Yes.
that people talk
Yes,
about. I
totally.
feel like his
Totally.
his existence
Yes.
is
And it's
proof of a lot of things.
Yeah, and it's amazing to see that even at this level that he's achieved, he's still into some learning or the other.
Yeah.
He's not content.
Yeah.
And feeling content, I feel, is
A killer.
Is a killer.
Yeah.
Is a killer.
Will kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. I agree.
So looking at such a successful person and still not feeling content is a great inspiration.
True. Great answer again. One book or author you're curious about?
So I just got this new book. It's on habit building in 30 days.
Okay.
It is not about habits that you should be, building, but it's all about how to be consistent, how to be persistent, and how to not give up. Because I have dealt with these things earlier a lot. And as I said, I was a very impatient person, and I'm still working on it. So I'm curious about that. And as I said, this is my year. So I am going to make it a point that I get onto this.
I'm very hopeful that you will. One place you're curious to travel to?
Very curious to travel to Italy. Planning to do it this year because there's a very nice IBS conference coming up,
Wow.
which I want to
I never
attend.
thought in my life I will hear Italy and IBS in the same sentence.
So there's an amazing conference happening, and I'm very curious to be a part. And learn a lot more about it.
Amazing.
And make a vacation out of it, of course.
Yeah. But like I said, one of a kind sentence. I never thought Italy and IBS could come in the same sentence. Historic day for me. One technology you're curious about?
I think I would want to create a kind of technology with the AI thing going around right now, where there can be multiple Prachis
Close.
and who can do as
Like
good
virtual Prachis?
virtual Prachis
Okay.
that can do the same amount of work that the real one is
And
doing.
then you can
and
sit in Italy.
No. And approach and guide much more people than what we are doing right now. So like a bigger crowd.
All heart. All heart. You're all heart. And that's amazing.
Yeah.
So we've come to the end of our session with you, which is I didn't even feel like we
Feel
were
like,
it
I
just
know.
flew by. It just like,
And we just kept on talking and talking and talking.
yeah, it was the most non-tiring episode ever. So any last thoughts that you would like to share? Any feelings about coming on the podcast?
I was super nervous and I was super, oh my God, what's going to
It
happen?
didn't feel like at all. In a good way. In a good way.
But I love speaking about what I do. And I really love opportunities like this because I really like speaking in terms of health, fitness, wellness, because I feel there is a huge chunk of people which are still unaware, and there's a huge market which is untapped, and I just want to reach out to as many as possible. So this podcast has really helped me to do that. Yeah, so this podcast has helped me literally get out all my thoughts in front of you and in front of the audience that I really wanted to talk about in terms of weight, in terms of myths, in terms of what actually a 360-degree approach towards health would look like. And through you, it has been possible to reach many. So amazing. I feel amazing because I really feel that it was a very comfortable and a very nice flow to our session today. Yeah. And thanks to you for having me on this show, because I feel privileged to talk about it, and I feel privileged in terms of being with you on this podcast, because I think it's a very special feeling, and you have made me feel super special about it. So thank you.
You're most welcome. I feel like this has been one of the most easygoing, very smooth, free-flowing conversation that I have had with someone, and it can only happen. Like, I can only do so much by making someone feel comfortable. But I feel like that's still 50%. The rest 50% still comes from the person, on the other side of the table. And you've been fantastic, let me tell you. And
I tried my best.
Yeah, you've been amazing. If there was an award, I would give it to you for being like the most free-flowing conversationalist award on the podcast would go to you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So I feel like the half 50% credit is yours, and rightly so. And keep doing what you do. We want to see you achieve greater heights and look forward to it. And thank you so much. And we can hopefully do this again sometime.
As and when you're ready again.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.